All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. For those that are in the group. Let's see here. What's up, Arnie? How's everybody doing today? Who's ready to watch the fireworks? Actually, let me start this live on Instagram as well. Why not? All right. So let me pull my charts over here. Honestly, there hasn't been a ton of like supply and demand levels. Armin, what's up? Yeah, let's see what happens here. So really the nearest significant downside levels that I'm watching are these green boxes. These are just very simple kind of demand areas where buyers were very strong, combined with, consolidation lows above. So if we have a significant drop, sweep out liquidity, I'll be looking at those areas. I've been talking about this with my private trading group, Flipping Futures. For those of you that are just on YouTube and Instagram and aren't a part of that, actually, here, let me show you my charts here on Instagram. What's up, Tyler? Sorry, I'm looking at like 3 different chats for this. So one sec, let me flip this camera around. Hopefully you guys can maybe see. Oh, don't do that. Maybe see on Instagram. So what was I saying? Oh, you know what? That's not even the chart that I'm talking about. All right, if you're on Instagram, I recommend just getting on the YouTube live stream. It's the link is in my story, but if you want to see my screens and stuff, I'll talk through it. But if you want to see my screens and stuff, then I recommend just hopping on the YouTube live stream. I've got too many things going on here, 3 different streams. So if you're part of my private group, Flipping Futures, where I trade live and kind of help people through order flow analysis, I've been watching this key area. We had a really nice sell-off from it this morning. Unfortunately, I missed it, but it was a perfect setup planned in my game plan here. But I've been watching this 66.75 to 66.80-ish area where I saw some interesting activity on the tape yesterday morning during that sell-off. And since then, we've rejected it 2 times here really cleanly on the 4-hour chart. I'm looking at the 4-hour time frame on ES Futures, continuous contract. And so I'm also watching this 4-hour trend line that is stemming from September 5th lows and double touched on September 9th. So I'm watching that 4-hour trend line. We broke below it today, but quickly are attempting to recapture it, retest it. So really simple levels here, kind of higher time frame. I know a lot of larger funds are looking to sell the news today, looking for a sell the news type of event. That's been the buzz I've been hearing as the market has already pretty much. All right, why is it on this tracking thing? Okay, the market has already pretty much been pricing in the rate cuts, is what most analysts are saying. I don't always look to trade FOMC. In fact, I mostly look to not trade these high news events. I look to primarily just trade the same setups that I use with supply and demand and order flow day in and day out. And I typically look to just stay out of this. But I decided to jump on here and help you guys see what we're seeing, talk through it, hopefully help prevent you from making any dumb trades. But let me get this chart out of here. You guys see the levels now that I'm watching and see what develops. 2 o'clock about to hit. The market is pumping off that. And these type of things, you pretty much always just expect stop hunts. You definitely don't want to chase a move once it starts happening. Again, I always preach have a long-term mindset with trading, not trying to make a quick buck on something that you can't repeat with a setup day in and day out. So I'm sharing my bookmap screen on YouTube now. What's up, Larry? Yeah, I'm mostly staying out of this, but watching with you guys. Really nice pop right up into that zone on that 2 p.m. news. We'll see if it keeps going higher, that 75 to 80 zone. So we'll see what happens up here. We just went like 2 points over that 75 to 80 zone and pulling back a little bit. So let's watch if we break out above that or if we reject there. Would be interesting. How about that 75 to 80 zone? Still holding. I mean, it went just a couple points over it to 82, but I mean, give it some slack. It's FOMC, you know? How about that? Yeah, I didn't catch it. Don't be deceived. I didn't catch it, but I'm observing it. If we kind of made a nice little double top there and tested it one more time, I may have looked to scalp it with a small size short, but we dropped too far off of it right away. I didn't catch it. But we literally went up there to 82, just 2 points above that zone. Again, cut it some slack when the volatility goes super high like this. And then we rejected all the way back down to 65. So was that like an 18-point drop off that high that was made right at that zone that I literally just talked about before the news? Can't even make that up. So we're rallying back into it now. What's everybody watching? Are you guys all watching ES as well? You guys watching NQ? Let me know. Pretty much just erased all the heavy selling we've seen all day long now. Swept out over those highs, tried to reject off of it, but now we're blasting up there again. Should almost expect, like, when everyone's like, oh, it's going to be a sell the news event, and pretty much almost expect the opposite. just straight up so far. We did have that really nice drop initially off this zone, but continuing to be bought into it now. Remember, at 2:30 is when the press conference starts, so a lot can happen again at 2:30 when JP starts talking. I like how we're popping above this zone again now and potentially dropping back under it again. That would be something. If we have two failed attempts over this zone. But so far, a lot of buying coming in. We'll see if some offers come in here. There is a lot of aggressive selling coming in right at the moment. There is a lot of aggressive selling coming in right at the moment, but I don't know if it's going to take control or not, or if it's going to keep getting bought into. Yeah, I like that heavy selling there. Jumped in a small feeler short there, like a minimal size. I'm going to trail my stop loss pretty much right away to 84. Would like to see this drop back towards 65s. Share this with my private group here. This may come back and stop me out break even. That's okay. I'm not going to hold it for a loss now. I want to see heavy selling drop back towards the 65s. I'm literally in one contract, so I can't unfortunately scale out of this. Otherwise, I'd scale out right here. I don't like how the selling just got weaker. Well, yeah, so I'm just sitting on this break even stop loss now. If buyers are strong back above 84s, I don't want to be a part of this. So I'm in short at the 84s and I'm just holding it. Would love to see just a drop back to the 65s, but I'm willing to just cut this soon just because I don't have any ability to scale with one contract. So if this comes back on me after being up 10 points now, that would be a little unfortunate, but oh well, it's just a scalp. Very, very minimal size. I normally trade like 4 ES contracts right now, and this is just one. What I liked was just how we went sideways there on that break above the 80 level, 75 to 80 level, and a lot of aggressive selling came in. So I was just speculating that that would be a failed break above that level and just get a quick drop back towards 65. I'm not trying to catch like a massive low of day. I'm just trying to catch like a retest back towards the origin of that news rally. Nothing crazy. Here's a nice little drop. I'm going to scale out on this there. As soon as I start to bounce there, I just took it off. It might keep dropping, but I was up 13 points, so I'm done. So I got filled at 71, so 14 points. And my risk was just over the high of day. So I will send screenshots of the trade to my group. They know. So again, this might go all the way down to the low of day now. I don't know. I caught my piece. I'm cool with that. Unfortunately, trading one ES contract like that, I would have loved to just take half off and keep holding this move. But again, I was in short at 84 and covered, and my risk was just over the high of day at 86 and a half. So 2.5 points of risk, and I just covered for 14 points. So I'm good with that. Again, I will send the screenshots to my group. So pretty much the analysis for that setup was just, we had that 75 to 80 zone. Again, it's just an area of interest that I'm watching because it's just an area of interest that I'm watching where there's been significant selling before. I'm giving it some breathing room because it's extremely high volatility. The tape is very thin. So it didn't mean too much to me that we got a little bit above that. Once we got a little bit above that zone and I saw significant heavy selling in, hundreds of lots of selling coming in, I said, okay, it's like 2.5 points of risk. Yeah, I'm there's high volatility right now, so it's risky and I could get swept out for a little bit more than my stop loss. That's why I'm trading one contract instead of 4 contracts like I normally do. Yeah, Eric said I could have traded 10 micros instead of one ES, but all my charts are set up for ES. My position thing is set up for ES. I'm not switching, over to micros. Again, a lot of people get into, if you guys saw my reel earlier, I always just preach repeatable setups, win slow, suck less. So we actually broke down under my 65 target now. I was a little quick on the trigger just because it was a very tight risk scalp and I had one contract. I had no scaling ability. So yeah, I left some profit on the table, but this easily could have bounced off that news rally and gone back up and stopped me out break even. So it's one of those things where I'm not looking for a home run. I'm not looking to catch the entire news move. I'm just looking to catch my high probability scalp. 2.5 points of risk, 14 points of reward. That's good enough for me. That's enough to make a living on, and I'm out. You know what I mean? I already caught another trade earlier with my private group this morning that I shared. So I already padded some profit there. So we're good. Let's look at Bookmap and I'll show you exactly what I was watching. So this is what I saw up here, this significant selling come in after we went sideways. And we can see these really small buy bubbles at these highs after this breakout above 80. Again, this is kind of a failed breakout setup. And then as soon as I saw the really heavy selling coming in, weak buying, I jumped in with it short as the selling came in at 84s. This never went, like from my entry, this never went red on me, not even a tick. And my stop loss was just over these highs right here. You can see what really triggered me into this trade is how this heavy selling was coming in, this weak buying, and then this offer here appeared and filled on Bookmap. And I don't know, call it gut feel, whatever, just the failed breakout above that zone setup. Dang, we are dropping now, huh? I'd be lying if I didn't tell you guys I had a little bit of FOMO on that because I caught the high on that move almost like to the tick. Like, oh, you can't make that up. You guys saw it live. You know what I mean? You guys saw that live. So that was a fun one. I don't even know what I was saying. Anyway, I saw this really aggressive selling on the failed break above that zone. I already have a little bit of a bias being that it is probably going to be a sell the news event where if we get a pop, larger players are probably going to be looking to sell that because the rate cut has already been priced into the market. Again, I wasn't holding this for the biggest home run ever, woohoo, I caught 14 points, whatever it was, 13, 14 points. But it's repeatable. We have the press conference coming out in 30 minutes too. So it's one of those things where the plan was to just catch the scalp. I would have liked to hold for the target I really wanted down at the 65s at least. But, being in with one contract, as soon as I saw it slow down, as soon as I saw the drop start to slow down, I just got out of it at the 71s. Nice. Somebody in my group, Pat, well done. Caught it short at the 77s, all out at the 45s. Amazing. Pat, did the analysis we're talking through here help you with that? Or did you already have a plan for that? You still watching that 75 to 80 zone that we've been talking about for 2 days now? Yeah, Pat caught it based on the 76 to 80 zone. So there's two ways you could trade that. You could either take it like I did with a very speculative entry, but that risk was minuscule, right? So I got in based on what I'm seeing on the order flow, speculating that we will see a failed break above that zone. The other thing that you could have done is exactly what Pat did, which is fantastic too, is wait for the break back into that zone. And like we saw here, so we broke strongly into that. So sellers are confirmed. And then I'm assuming he probably took it short on one of these pops here at 77s and then put his stop above 80, which is perfect. That's probably a higher probability setup. His risk was just a little bit wider, but he held it for a bigger move than I did. I scalped it pretty tightly. He caught it for a bigger move than I did. It's a great trade, Pat. Mhm. So very nice. We literally caught the high of the FOMC move within 2 points. I don't know what else to convince you. If you guys are not already in my, group where I kind of teach how to analyze the order flow like this, like I don't know what else I could do live to prove the point that reading the order flow is just so incredibly powerful, regardless of your trading strategy. If you just learn how to do that to add to it, or just purely that is your trading strategy, like me. I don't know what more I could do. I mean, they don't always work out like this, guys, right? Like I don't always win. Um, I take losses too. That's just part of the game. It's just a probabilities game. New information could have come in and swept me out there. But, to be able to confirm with such high precision when you do see something like that, the point is my risk was so small. So even if I was wrong, I'm wrong for 2 points, and you can take 10, 15, 20 point wins on that. Like you can afford to be wrong. I'm typically right pretty often, 50, 60% of the time or so. But if you have such high risk versus reward because you can be so precise with the pivot points, like based on reading the order flow, then it's way, way easier to be a profitable trader than it is to try to be right all the time. I do the live trading pretty much every day unless I have something personal going on. And through that, I do a lot of teachings. During the live streams, I do a lot of teaching for setups and analysis. So it's not just like a signal chat. I actually kind of coach and share the analysis uh, on how to actually read the market, how to do analysis, how to trade. So I try to do it in a way that's beneficial, whether you are a experienced trader or a new trader. You can get stuff out of it. Here's the link if anyone is interested. Oops, sorry, Justin. Again, I wasn't doing this to kind of pitch something, but I'm just sharing it if there's interest, because I don't do the live streams as much on YouTube. I still will do them for free from time to time. I really wanted to get on here for this to help keep people out of bad trades, and hopefully, um, even if you didn't catch a win, if you just avoided taking a bad trade, that's typically how I approach the market and helping people eliminate mistakes. You can just eliminate like the worst mistakes, worst trades. You're going to have so much easier time being a profitable trader. And then through that, also looking for valid, legit setups. But I mean, I don't know what else to show you. We caught the high of FOMC within 2 points after a 60 to 87. It went all the way up to 87. So, and it rallied from 60 from the start of the news. So it blasted 27 points and we caught the high of it within 2 points. So that's pretty precise if you ask me. If you don't make the lives, I always share the recordings as well. And it's not just like the live streams. You can ask people in the group. I try to review everyone's trades, share the analysis in text format as well, and provide the game plans and everything like that. We also I just started this, so I'm also going to be doing educational calls to teach setups, do back testing, journaling together. Lots of different things that we'll do for educational calls in addition to that during the week. There is no trial offers. The stuff that I teach is kind of proprietary. Like I have a lot of experience doing this. And once I teach people these things, it's not like I can just take that information back. So, I mean, I have it set up to where it's a monthly thing. So it's very low ticket. Like a lot of courses that teach the level of information that I share is thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't have any one-time purchase options. You'll be locked in at the monthly rate for as long as you want to be a part of the group. The reason is like this is something that I put continuous effort into, live streaming, sharing analysis, coaching, teaching, and everything. So it's not like you're just buying a course that I recorded a video for. That's like one time. So you can stay in as long as you want. You can cancel anytime, take a break, come back when you want. It's all good. I don't do trial offers. If you want to know anything about it, send me a DM on Instagram. I'm happy to talk to you about it. Um, like I said, it's not like I can do this stuff, you know, it's not like a course or something that you just get a refund. Something I do this live with everyone. But it's very low ticket. If it's not for you, then cancel and shoot me a message and I'll work with you. Um, but check out the reviews on there. We've got a lot of good people up, even just not only myself. There's a lot of great traders in here, people that have the right mindset for trading, um, that are not just, trying to have a get rich quick scheme, looking for trade signals, whatever else. There's a lot of people that have the right approach and mindset. This is not going to be the biggest group ever. It's a very small, tight knit group. It's just, you know, mainly geared towards people that are serious traders and want to learn the right way and are not looking for a silly get rich quick scheme that, if you've been around the block for any amount of time, will not work in the long run. So awesome. Yeah, we did the live stream this morning already. So we did a good amount of coaching and stuff in there as well. Um, and I appreciate everybody that's joining in again here, spending their FOMC time together here. Joe, good to see you in here. Pat, welcome. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen forever here. Like we could totally bounce and reverse and everything. I mean, that's why I'm a tape reading type trader. I don't try to catch the ultimate high and the ultimate low and hold it forever. I scalp intraday and then I go and enjoy my time doing other things. Um, that trade took a couple minutes, and if I wasn't talking to you guys now, I'd already be off enjoying my time somewhere else. 1409 is when I got out. So 209 is when I got out. I got in at 204.50 something. So I was in that for 204. Yeah, 209. So I was in that for 5 minutes to make like almost $1,000. And I was only risking, I made 14 points. I made like $700 and I was risking 2.5. So I was risking like $125. So almost a 7 arc scalp in 4 or 5 minutes. That works for me. That's good enough. Like I said, if I wasn't on this live stream with you guys, if I wasn't trading during FOMC, I'd probably be trading a setup like this with like 4 contracts. But if I was wrong, it could have swept me out. You know what I mean? So I always, regardless, I don't put myself in the mindset where it's like I'm trying to hit a home run and make $1 billion on this news volatility. That just sets you up for failure. So regardless, even if my stop is tight when I'm trading like news volatility like this, I'd still rather just trade with minimal size for myself. Like everybody's different. There might be people in my group that trade bigger than I do. I don't know. I'm not the biggest trader in the world. I trade like typically 2 to 4 ES contracts right now, just what I'm comfortable with trading right now. But I mean, you can make a very healthy living even with that. But anyway, even when I have a tight risk setup like this, like I was only risking 2.5 points, I'm still trading with minimal size just because I could have easily got swept out in that volatility. And I'd rather trade with that small size in that volatility and allow myself the flexibility to just like re-enter the small scalp again versus like hitting it with heavy size, getting stopped out for a small loss, stopped out for a small loss. Uh, just my experience. When the volatility goes up, so can emotions and trade management skills decline, even as an experienced trader. So I still like to just size down. Again, I don't need this to trade. Like it's not like this is an FOMC specific setup. I take these setups every day. So Justin asked what time. I typically get on the lives between 9 and 9:15 a.m. and we go through the pre-market analysis. I typically already share my text game plan as I go through the analysis. I'm pretty much up. I'm on the East Coast, and I'm typically up and in the charts and stuff by like 5 a.m. I start sharing my analysis for the day, go away, come back to my charts before the open, and then we get on the live stream and go through the analysis, go through the game plan, and then I stick around for the first hour to 2 hours, depending on the day. It really depends on the day, like what's developing in the market. Like I don't just sit on there and waste my time and everyone else's time if there's just nothing good going on that day. But even when the live streams do end, I typically continue to share analysis throughout the day. I check back periodically. And if anything good is developing, like right now, then we'll get back on live at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for FOMC and catch a nice little setup. For most, I just want to be clear, for most new traders, I don't recommend this, like trading during news and high volatility until you have experience. Like I've been trading for almost 9 years now. I started trading my first account in 2016. Had some gaps in there. And I didn't start really day trading until 2020. I started out swing trading like crypto and options. But I've just been around enough that I don't get too overly excited about this kind of stuff and I can keep a level head. But until you get to that point, I don't recommend doing this. I'm just sharing what I'm doing to hopefully help you guys see the analysis, and hopefully help you guys avoid making mistakes that are to be expected for newer traders. Like this is a very difficult game. If you've been trying to trade for any amount of time, you know this is an extremely difficult game. Market is bouncing now a little bit. Yeah. This is pretty tricky action. I mean, do you guys mind if I cover up the book map here for just a second? We're just in the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't touch. So if you guys notice, the only time I look to touch this thing is when we rallied above this zone and I had a specific setup for it, which was a failed breakout setup. I ain't touching this thing anywhere in the middle of this, right? So it's a very balanced conditions like I've been talking about with my group for this whole week. I went over very specific stuff with the volume profile this morning, showing like where and why there is balance in the market. And so I stuck my neck out when there was opportunity, when we were at an extreme, but I'm not trying to stick my neck out, one, to chase the move down, or two, to get myself chopped up in the middle. So I just want to be clear about that. I'm not trying to get chopped up in this. I'll put risk on when there's clear opportunity, especially like in balanced conditions. Yeah, Bartos, I will share this live stream recording and you can go back and watch. I did share the trade live, like I think within just a couple seconds of me taking the trade. And I went back and shared all the analysis for it and everything. I'd be lying if I wasn't sitting here telling you guys I didn't have FOMO, knowing that I took that sucker short up there at the 84s and we're all the way down at the 50s now, but it's all good. I caught my piece. Yeah, I'll share it. Highly recommend going back. Yeah, JP is about to start blabbing. And, if his lips are moving, the market's moving. So very wicky up and down so far. We're still just kind of in this range. So just be careful. If you guys want to see a recap of this trade, then I recommend hopping over on Instagram. I will share a reel covering this trade with my exact entries and everything. I'll pull it into TradeZella and we'll recap it together. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, I'll share it on there. And you can go back if you want to see it live and everything. You can go back on this YouTube recording and see it. Again, it's not like it's not either. This is not something that I just came up with on the fly either. Like before the news even came out, I was specifically watching that 75 to 80 area. Yes, we got a few points above it. That was fine to me. I was still looking for that failed breakout setup. Unless we pulled back into that level and held and I saw significant buying, it was still worth the risk. You can see the size like zoomed out right here. So as we rallied up in here, you can really see this clearly, just zoomed out here now. So look back when I entered up here. So you can see on that rally how we just rallied up into that area, and then just look at the really large selling that came in right up there at the highs of that. That was what was really interesting to me. But you just zoomed out here on Bookmap, we can clearly see. Hang on, there's craziness going on. JP must be talking. Let me know in the chat if anybody has questions about that setup or anything. I'm happy to go over it. Any questions trading related, let me know. We'll go over it. I would be very careful in the middle of this range, pretty much from 75 to 50. Anywhere in the middle of that, 75 to 50, I would be very careful. We're basically like just zooming out. Look at the 5-minute. We're basically in a barcode in there. We're making kind of higher lows and also definitely lower highs. So, but I'll be very cautious in here. Bartos, I do live streams and share all of my analysis and game plans every day, for the most part every day. And we do recaps. I kind of coach people through how to approach the markets, analysis, both in terms of technicals and psychology and things like that. So I don't think it's like your typical trading Discord at all. At least not ones that I've seen. But again, hopefully you guys, even if you don't join, that's cool. I share free stuff here on YouTube and Instagram. I just do way more and way more in depth for people that are more serious about trading in the flipping futures group. But hopefully you guys got something out of this in terms of just the analysis, how to approach things during FOMC, during these conditions. This was a great setup. Hopefully you guys got something out of reading that order flow. Again, we'll dive into this a lot deeper in the flipping futures community, we'll go through these things. We do go through these things often. So if you want that kind of insight, I highly recommend joining in. But for those of you that are in flipping futures, I will see you guys in the morning. I'll probably do another free live stream in the coming in the near future on YouTube. But for everyone in flipping futures, I will see you guys in there. And thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this analysis helped you either avoid a bad trade, learn something new about order flow, or maybe you caught a great trade based on that analysis up there. But for now, I'm out. Peace. Thanks for joining. See you guys.